What's up, guys? Happy Tuesday evening to all of you. Hope you're doing good. As you can see, I am by myself tonight. No, I didn't fire Wayne, a wingman, as I call him. Wayne had to leave today to go out to California. His dad's not doing well. And yeah, he is taking care of that. And we're all praying for him and his dad as well. Doesn't look real good. So you guys keep Wayne in your thoughts. Yeah. So anyway, I hope you guys are having a good start to your week. We've had wind, and more wind here in North Carolina. I don't know about you guys, but I am tired of wind. It has been the windiest, seems like since the last summer or fall. It's just not stopped, and it's not a breeze. It is a pure, full force wind, 20, 25 miles an hour, um, which, we expect some wind in March, but here we are in May. And I think the seasons are just kind of screwed up. I don't know. We've and we had rain finally. It was storming here Sunday. We finally got rain. It's been really dry. We got about 2 inches of rain here on Sunday. We got a little bit Saturday evening too, I think. But yeah, the grass when I cut it Friday afternoon was pretty dry and starting to look withered and brown. So for this time of year, that's pretty unusual, and it's really the first hard rain we've had since pollen and everything. We've had a few brief showers, but rained really, really good Sunday, and that helped a lot. Yesterday was we got a good thunderstorm yesterday too with some good rain. So but again, if it's not raining, it's windy, and that's every day. So and the wind dries out things even more. So yeah, we're glad to have some rain here. I think they're calling for more possibly by Friday. It's supposed to be pretty nice, pretty mild. No humidity this week. But of course, that's when most of you guys, as well as myself, are working. So it doesn't help me a whole lot. um, Wayne and I had planned on getting the T28 and the two RV8s broke in. We've got props. And again, this came up with his dad, so he had to go out to California. So again, hopefully we can get this stuff done relatively soon. I'm ready to fly this T28 one way or the other. It's going to do something, and I'm ready to see it do something. Um, so it's been a long time in the making. And here, Phil Camp's already flown his and already dotted up a whole B-17. So um, he's been a busy man, and that plane looks beautiful, Phil, by the way. I've seen it, seen the pictures, and it is absolutely gorgeous. So just don't mess it up before Bomber Field comes up in September. That's going to be a big event. So you got to have it there and get it flown and let everybody see it. I think it'll definitely be a head turner for sure, especially with all those rivets you put on it one at the time. So if there's an award to be given for anybody with, I guess you could call it, patience of Job, that would be Phil Camp. So great job, buddy. Looks beautiful. Um, but yeah, other than that, I came up here to the studio Saturday most of the day. Um, and worked on my T-45 Goshawk. You know how we have a plane and we fly it, we booger it up. And I think it was last summer, I flew the T-45. Now mine is the version one, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with the T-45 Goshawk from Freewing, but it is a beautiful jet. I love all the scale, intricate things on it, such as the wing slats, the speed brakes, um, and when they came out with version two, they ditched the wing slats and they said they were doing it for weight. Now, I personally don't believe that that added that much weight, because I will say that flying it on 6S, version one was a little lethargic off the ground, but once in there, it flew great. Um, but I ended up upgrading the fan and the ESC and went 8S on mine with an in runner, and man, it will carry the mail. So I definitely, I think the 8S version one is the way to go. Um, and I'm telling you, it's just amazing how the wing slats perform as they should. Um, that jet, when you're coming in for a landing with full flaps and slats, it changes the total dihedral of the wing. It really slows it down nicely. It comes in just like a carrier landing. And to me, I'm all about scale features. I love every little intricate thing that a plane or a jet can do. And, like I said, Awesome Craig, yeah, the V1 is amazing. And like I said, mine on 8S is great. I've got the afterburner ring in it that goes from blue at takeoff up to red at full throttle. And it really looks awesome on that jet. Um, and last summer, I believe it was, I was flying it, had a great flight coming in for a landing. The nose gear was already weak in the plastic tray, that the servo sits in. And I had, again, I attempted a fix earlier. I knew it was weak, so I went in there and again I put CA in it, and I should have used epoxy or Hysol. But we get in a hurry and we think, oh, it'll be okay. And I actually reinforced the nose gear with another metal plate around it. And when I came in for the landing, I landed it a little heavy. Not, I like to land that jet on the mains and touch the nose down. That's how it looks the best to land. That's how it should be landed, a lot like the F4. And when I came in hot. I knew I was hot, and I landed it kind of on a 3-point land with all three gear touching down. And when I did, the nose gear collapsed, and the little plastic rod that goes down to the strut broke, and the servo, more or less broke the plastic and pulled out of it in the front. But it didn't bend the shaft or the shaft rod that goes up into the servo. So you know how we all do when we get ticked off with something. We either put it in the trailer or we set it aside because we did something stupid, and it kind of sits there because you just don't even want to mess with it. And that's where it's been sitting on my rack for probably 10 or 12 months possibly. And I just said to myself this past weekend, I said, man, I got to get that jet and see what's going on with it. I want to fly it again. It just looks so good in the air. It flies so good, and people love to watch it fly, especially with the slats and everything on it. So I brought it in here, and upon looking at it, I took the servo out. The plastic tray had lifted up relatively a lot and pulled some of the foam up. And so I went in there and took the servo out and took the strut off the servo. The pin in the strut was not bent, which was a good thing. And tested the servo. Now, you know how all of these main gear or nose gear servos, for the most part, have got a control board underneath the trundle that moves back and forth on a worm gear. So with that, when I tested the servo on my servo tester, it wouldn't do anything, but the gear was kind of stuck. The trundle was kind of stuck halfway in the middle. So tried a couple of different things. A lot of times you can kind of pull on them, move them, they'll engage again, but it wouldn't do anything. So, however, I did put it back on the servo tester, and I opened the servo up to see if anything was trying to move. And when I put it back on the servo tester, nothing would move, but I could put my thumb on the little motor in there, and I could feel it getting hot, which told me that possibly the little motor, it was locked up, something in it wasn't working. So I took a pair of pliers and I turned the little gear on the motor. It would turn freely, so it wasn't seized up. So with that, I had several of those main gear and nose gear servos in my trailer that I've saved from other planes or whatever that weren't messed up. So I went and got one of those, brought it back to the shop and tested it, and it worked great. So, and I had a few spare parts off of another T45 I had that was actually 6S that I stuck in the ground because, as I said, it was a little lethargic coming off of grass. Um, yeah, John, have a good night, man. Thank you for stopping in, buddy. As always, we love having you here. So, anyway, servo worked great. I got everything back together. I went in and mixed up epoxy and took a tongue depressor and just shoved epoxy down under the plastic tray and pushed it back down in there and let it set up. And the next day I came back, put the servo in it, run the wires back to the receiver for the nose gear, and I had to repair one of the gear doors. One of the little, it looks like a little servo arm that the linkage attached to on the back door, because you got a front set of doors and you got a rear set of doors. And the left-hand door, Tim, thank you, man. Always, buddy. Yes, sir. Thank you so very much, man. You're a good man. So I took an old servo arm and snipped it off to the same length as the little arm on the other door. And I took CA and baking soda, which will make it like freaking rock hard. If you guys have never used CA and baking soda, let me just tell you, it's like mixing concrete. Once it hardens, if it breaks, it ain't gonna be in that same spot. It'll be somewhere else. So I took that snipped off servo arm and CA'd it, put baking soda around it, put a little more CA, and then hit it with kicker, and it's perfect. I put the linkage back on. The doors open and close great. So that was fixed. And one of the little, it's almost like a plastic shield that goes alongside the gear to the strut that's held with a spring. I had to replace the spring. Lowe's has springs. I got a spring, and I put the gear, that little door, back into the recessed area. And so right now, everything is working perfectly, and it looks really good. And I'm super stoked because it was. I'm not gonna say it was a hard fix. Working on some of these jets can be almost as tedious as pulling teeth because you kind of got to get into small places with your big hands, and that's kind of tough sometimes. But everything's back together, and she's working great. I have a AS3X receiver in it, and I fly that jet typically with the rates according to the book. I fly it in low rates because it is very twitchy, in high rates, and it will roll like that in high rates. So I typically enjoy flying it in low rates. And with the AS3X gyro system, she's locked in. And I've got about, I don't know, maybe 3 millimeters, 4 millimeters of crow in my ailerons when the slats come out, because that also helps to slow it down a little bit better as it's coming in. And if you guys, I'm sure you know what crow is. It's when your ailerons are sitting up just slightly. They're not level with the wing. They're sitting up just slightly, which acts almost like a, what's it called on your big airliners? God, I've gone blank. You guys know what I'm talking about. It just helps slow it down some. And with full flaps, wing slats, and a little bit of crow, that jet just comes in like everything, man. And with the AS3X 9-channel receiver in it, it flies amazing. And so, yeah, I can't wait to get back out and get that back at the field and fly it again, man, because that was one of my favorite jets, and I hadn't flown it in a long time. So time to get it back out. Also got to maiden the A10 sitting here. This is the version 2 A10. I sold my V1 to Ken Wade, who all of you guys know in here. We always talk about Ken having the lucky horseshoe. And it needed a nose gear fix as well. Last time I flew it, I came in hot, or came in actually, and I won't lie, I stalled it because I had full ordnance on it. and I'd been flying it without ordnance, and I didn't carry enough speed, so I kind of landed it flat on all three gear, and when I did, the nose gear just kind of went in and collapsed and pulled out of the plastic. Now, that particular jet, as we all know, if you've flown it, you have it, you've seen people work on it. Um, Basically, the little plastic tray where the nose gear goes, you can't replace it unless you cut that plane straight down the center and take that whole tray out. That was one of the craziest things they ever did with that jet, because you better off to freaking epoxy a servo in there and call it done, because trying to cut your nose in perfect half, put it back together without making it look bad, it's done better with a wire. If you've got a guitar string that you can heat up and go right down the center of the fuselage and peel it apart, pull the tray out, and then glue it back together, you won't have much damage as far as having to go back in and fix it. But fortunately, Ken didn't have to do that with mine. He was able to epoxy the tray back in and get the gear back right. He's actually going to paint that jet, which I have always thought about doing. I just didn't take the time to do it. And I don't know that I won't do it on this V2 at some point. I think he's going to paint it in the Arctic Aggressor scheme, and he is getting graphics from Cali Graphics. So it'll look like the FMS version of the A10, but a better model, man. That FMS don't touch that free wing. There's no comparison. I've seen both of them in person. I've seen both of them fly. Now the FMS flies great. The gear on it, not even close. The free wing blows the FMS out of the water as far as the gear being sturdy and strong. That FMS doesn't hold a torch. But I do love the paint job on the FMS. I love an Arctic. That's one of my favorite schemes. I have an F-16 that I custom painted in the Arctic Aggressor scheme, and it looks just like the 70 millimeter, and it looks phenomenal. And that is my Hangar Queen because it looks so good. It's a little bit weathered. My wife did some of the graphics on that for me, and it just looks amazing. It looks just like the Arctic Aggressor. And so that is my Hangar Queen, I must say. I've flown it about 4 times. It flew great. And I said, you know what? I'm going to put it aside and look at it because I don't want to have to paint it again if something happens or I mess it up or I have to replace a wing or whatever. So I'd just rather keep it and let it be my queen. So yeah, it sits there and I just enjoy looking at it. But the Ken, once he's also putting slime lights in the version 1 A10 that he got from me, and Tim Toutant told Ken about the stem wing slime lights that you can get for these particular jets. Now, Tim's got them in several of his jets, and they look amazing. And last week or week before, when we were on the show, Ken was in here, and we were talking about the A10 up here having the blue slime lights. Personally, I like it. I don't have a problem with it, but a lot of guys wanted the green ones. And, if you want green ones, go to Stem Wings and get your green ones and switch these out. Or if you have a version 1 and you want to put the slime lights in the version 1, it's pretty simple as far as on the version 1, the decals were already on the jet where all of the slime lights go. So all you got to do is go in there with an X-Acto blade, cut out the little spot, put your slime lights in, and you'll have slime lights on your version 1. Another thing you can do with the version 1, paint your gear white. That's the way the version 2 is done. So there again, 2 things that can make it look like the version 2. And, you don't have to spend the money if you don't want to do that. As far as buying a new jet to have the same look to a degree. The version 1 also had the 9-blade 80 millimeter EDFs in it, whereas the version 2 that I've got, it's got the 12-blade EDFs in it. So again, a little more probably top end, maybe a little more torque. Wayne, if he were sitting here, could probably elaborate on that as well. But, it's just one of those things where if you've got a version 1 and you want to fix it up, do a few little things to it, stick a light in the cannon, the gun on the front, you'd have a version 2 pretty simply and not have to buy a new jet if you really wanted to. I just didn't feel like doing all that. So I went ahead and got the version 2. I knew I could sell the version 1. Also sold another jet that I had to another friend of mine that I hadn't flown yet. And so he really wanted it because I'd done all the mods to it and everything to it. It was actually the Freewing F-14. And yeah, I said, you know what? It's just been sitting there. I want the new A10. So I love how the A10 flies. It's one of to me, the Freewing A10 is one of the best flying jets in the Freewing lineup, as far as stability, flight, length of flight, size, quality. To me, it's hands down I call it the mothership of Freewing jets. I don't know if you guys, feel the same way, but if you have flown the A10, you know what I mean. It just flies like nothing else. I do think that the new version, I think the foam in this new version is better. I think it's denser. Um, it feels like it's harder, more like the air foam or the HSD jets, which is a great thing. I mean, if Freewing is stepping up their foam game and putting denser, harder foam, that's really good, because we all know if you pick up these jets just right, you'll get finger dents in it, or you touch your door going out of the house or your trailer, you ding it. So I do think that the foam on this new A10 is denser than the version 1. So I was happy to see that, be able to feel it, touch it, everything, flip it, smack it, rub it down. You know what I'm saying? We've all got to caress our new jets when we get them. But that's just my insight on it, guys. Like I said, I've I've flown the A10 many times. It flies as well with ordnance as it does without. Not a lot of really noticeable speed difference. Not a lot of difference in flight times. I've seen guys on YouTube with this version 2 with 4.5 minute timers, and I believe it because I had my timer on the V1 set for 4 minutes and would come down with proper throttle management at 3.8 a sail at 4 minutes. That's pretty good for a jet this big, guys. That's a big, heavy jet. So, and granted, you're flying 2 packs, but you're getting good flight times, and you got a nice big bird there to fly, and it handles and flies phenomenal. So, just putting it out there to you. I know a lot of people say, well, that's a lot of money for foam. Well, it is, but if you look at what you're getting and the quality is practically ready to fly other than batteries and a receiver. I think it's 13 screws, 14 screws, puts it together. You can take the whole thing apart now with the new version. There's no glue. I don't know, man. For me, it's just a no-brainer. And I think that it's going to sell out quickly. I know version 1 sold out at one point, if not more than one time. And I believe this one will sell out too. And then with everything going on with China and the tariffs, we don't know how hard they'll be to get. So if you guys want one, you better get it, as well as other things. Thomas texted me, I think it was Sunday, from Legend Hobby. And he told me that the RQ7s are en route to be here in 2 weeks. So for any of you guys wanting the RQ7, which is the drone as seen in the picture here, these will be back in stock hopefully within 2 weeks if all goes accordingly. And you can get you one. These things fly amazing, guys. Grass is not a problem whatsoever. Wayne and I were actually, believe it or not, flying a 15,000 milliamp pack in this thing, which is the size of a brickbat. We think of 6,000 packs as being big batteries. They look small compared to a 15,000 milliamp. And that particular pack was an HRB. And we put it in there. It carries it with no problem whatsoever. And with our equations and everything and the flights that we did, we're basically looking at 45-minute minimum up to possibly an hour flight time with proper throttle management on that particular pack, which is almost unheard of. They also have the turrets for this particular drone that you can put on the bottom. So if you guys want to fly FPV, you can do that as well. They have the bombs that you can put on the wings and the actuators at Legend Hobby that you can put baking soda or flour or whatever in the bombs, and upon hitting the ground, they burst open and then they magnet right back together. They clip onto the actuators on the wings, and you just hit a button on your transmitter and it drops. So those are pretty cool. But the FPV turret that goes on the bottom of this is 3D printed, and it is pretty daggone awesome if you guys wanted to fly FPV with this particular drone. And looking at 45 minutes to an hour of flight time, you could actually just about program this airplane with a proper programming and let it fly itself while you fly something else. We have a guy at our field that actually has drones that he programs, and he sets them off in the air and they run a pattern for 90 minutes. I've seen it done. And he's got a big flat screen TV that he sits on the picnic table, and everybody watches, and he's going up so many feet. And then he flies another drone around while that one's flying its pattern. And it's pretty cool to see. So again, it's a big drone. This picture you're seeing here on your screen, it is pretty big. And it's, like I say, you can also get this in the ARF if you don't want to buy it fully ready to go. As far as the motor and the prop and everything, you can buy it as an ARF and put in it whatever you choose. But it is a really great flying drone. And, like I say, if you decide to opt for a 15,000 milliamp pack, it'll carry it. And again, if you want 45 minutes to hour flight time, it'll do it. I think when we tested this airplane, I want to say we were flying, I think, anywhere from 5,200s to 6,200s. And I want to say at that point in time, I think Wayne was getting, I want to say somewhere around 15 minutes easy on that particular pack. You get bored. I mean, by the time, 10, 15 minutes and you're bored, and it flies that well. It flies slow. It's got big flaps on it. So if you just want something to get out there and get a lot of stick time on, guys, this is a great plane to do it with. And it is big, so you can see it well. About the same color as the A10. And you put your ordnance on it, throw you some bombs on it, man, it almost have that A10 appearance. So it really looks good. And everybody, every time we flew it, everybody loves seeing it. And so it really got a lot of attention. So probably next question is, well, what happened to it? Okay, well, Wayne has always bragged about, flying Futaba, and I fly Spektrum. And in flying Futaba, he was bragging a week or so earlier about he's never had a brownout ever with Futaba. And because we had a couple of guys out at our field that had a brownout with Spektrum. And he was bragging, I've never had that happen with Futaba. That's why you need to fly Futaba. Well, I think it was a couple of weeks later. We were flying one Saturday, and he was flying the drone. And I was kind of standing behind him on the flight line. And he went out and he came around towards us. And the plane's coming towards us at probably, I'd say, half to 3/4 throttle. And of course, he was going to come towards us and then bank to the right and go down the runway. And I noticed as he was coming towards us, I thought I heard him go, "Oh, crap." And I kind of stopped and watched for a second. And then all of a sudden he was like, "Whew." And I said, "What happened?" He said, "I lost it for a second. It was coming right towards us." And I was like, "Really?" And he was like, "Yeah." So he kept flying it. And he went out to where we've had problems with Spektrum at one end of our field. Not all the time, just once in a while. So we're still trying to think what could be causing the problem. And all of a sudden, he was at probably, I don't know, maybe 75, 80, 100 feet. And he was coming from right to left and was down at the end of the field and went to make a left bank turn. And all of a sudden, he goes, I got nothing. I got nothing. I got nothing. And he's standing there, I don't have it. I don't have it. And it just banked hard and went straight into the ground. And first time he'd ever, well, second time he'd ever seen a brownout with his Futaba. And that basically ended the RQ7. So we went out, picked up everything, but we did take everything out of it, and everything checked out as far as the flight surfaces, as far as the servos, the motor, the ESC, everything. So only thing we come up with is he got a brownout. But we did save everything out of it, and Thomas is going to get us another airframe as soon as I get him here in a couple of weeks. And we're going to get this thing back up in the air because it does really fly good. It looks good, and it's a big plane, so it's easy to see. And like I said, you can get a lot of flight time out of it if you want to buy a big pack and put in it. The bigger the pack put in it, the better it loves it. It don't skip a beat. It is a pusher, so it's going to push that battery. I can promise you that. And it's got a huge wooden prop on it, and it don't even seem to notice that big battery. So yeah, so that's kind of where we're at right now. I'm hoping, that he won't be gone too long so we can get some things going. But who knows? Life is what it is, and he doesn't know right now either. So I may be back here by myself again next week. So I appreciate all you guys for joining me. Let me see who all we got in here tonight. Let me see who we got. We've got Ken Wade, Jay Custer. We've got Scott Monarch. John Holligan was here. He had to step out. We've got my mom in here, of course, asking for the thumbs up. You guys hit that button. Phil Camp. Lyndon Stewart. What's up, buddy? How you doing, man? Let's see. Craig Bevan. Glad to have you guys here tonight. Of course, Mr. Toutant, always throwing around some sunshine. Let's see who else we have in here tonight. Silver Fox RC, what's up, buddy? So I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me tonight. Like I said, I've been just kind of tinkering on some stuff I needed to do for a while. Like I said, the T-45, got it all fixed up and ready to go again. And, just wanting to get all these planes propped up, and basically we got to break them in. The T-28 has got a 1910 prop on it, which is a good break-in prop. I also have the, hey Gary, what's up, buddy? Also got the 3-blade that will be more scale sitting over here on the table. Looks really nice. And once I break it in, fly it a few times with the 2-blade, which is going to give it more, of course, more pull, more speed. I'll switch over to the 3-blade just for scale look, again, because I really like scale and I like flying scale, so I'm not after a massive speed demon in this particular plane. So, that's basically what I'm going to do once I get it broke in and ready to go. I've got to get the big Hangar 9 Beaver, which is already broke in. We've got to get it flown this summer. I'm really looking forward to that. It is a beautiful, beautiful airplane, and being a Beaver, it's going to fly good. So yeah, we've got a lot. Wayne's got the Yak from Legend Hobby all ready to go. He's got a prop on that. We went electric conversion on that particular plane. That's what Thomas wanted us to do, so we did. And we're going to get that plane, hopefully get it flown as soon as Wayne gets back. So we hope to have some videos coming out, guys, because between the freaking wind and the cold, we've just not had good weather luck here for a good while. So, and that's weird for North Carolina. I mean, we did get some flights in a couple of Sundays ago. I flew the Cessna that you see in this picture right here from Legend Hobby, which again, I always say, bang for buck, balsa plane, nice size airplane. I believe it's a 69-inch wingspan. Comes with everything you need in the box. Servos installed, except for a receiver and a radio and a and a battery for like five. I think it's either 549 or 579. You can't beat it. I mean, a foam airplane will cost you that, and it ain't gonna fly like balsa. Nothing flies like balsa except, well, composite or fiberglass. And if you're gonna spend that kind of money, I get it. But comparing balsa to foam, there's no comparison. And one of my good friends, Brian Brody, always said that to me when we were flying foam back a couple of years ago, and he got into the balsa. Balsa bit him hard. He was all about foam airplanes, and he saw me flying my P-51, which was balsa from Hangar 9. It's a red tail. And he's like, man, he said, I got to have me a balsa plane. And now that's basically all he messes with is balsa planes. He's got a nice P-40. He's got a nice Spitfire that sounds amazing. All of his stuff's electric, which his Spitfire sounds so good you wouldn't know it. When it comes by, it is hauling butt, man, and it sounds amazing, that wooden prop on it. So, and that's one thing I want to get really bad after I get this Mustang from Legend Hobby. That's going to be a big Mustang, and I want to get a nice Spitfire as well. And I love the camo scheme with the invasion stripes, which is the way my Flightline is done. The Flightline comes camo, and I put the invasion stripes on the body or the fuselage and the wings, and then weathered it, and it's beautiful. And that's a great flying plane for a foam plane, but I want balsa. And I want to do the Mustang and the Spitfire with really awesome sounding engines. And my Warbirds, for me, will be complete for the most part, as far as what I really want. I like a lot of planes, but as far as I say must-haves kind of in your hangar, is P-51, Spitfire, and of course we got the T-28 sitting here. And trying to think, there's something else. Well, I'd love to have the big Corsair, of course. But Mustang first, man. I love a Mustang. And I wish I had the money to put a Moki in it, or however you want to pronounce it. They just sound nasty in those Mustangs. And a couple of guys at the field have got them, but I mean, you're talking high dollar engines, and I get it. They're supposedly worth it, but I can't do that. So I'm probably gonna get a nice Stinger from Thomas and put in that Mustang, especially since he's good to us and he represents Stinger engines exclusively. And I'll see what he recommends to go in that P-51, and that way we can showcase the whole thing for you guys. Because the T-28 and both RV-8s have got 40s in them, Stinger 40s. The one RV-8's got the electric start, and it's pretty sweet. So it almost was like a blower sitting up on top of a cowl. So that's going to be pretty neat. But yeah, I can't wait to get some videos out for you guys, man. I mean, it's killing us because every chance Wayne and I get to fly, we're working. Or what little chances we've had, it's windy. And so I'm not going to get out there and risk nice airplanes for wind. I'm just not going to do it. A lot of guys will say, well, I'll fly in anything. Wind's your friend. Well, wind can be your friend, especially possibly with a jet. But I'm not getting out there with my nice Warbirds and things like that. And, yeah, Gary, that's what I'm talking about, man. I looked at the Phoenix model on Tower Hobby's site. They've got the 96-inch Spitfire in the scheme that I'd like. And I'd like to put somewhere probably, I mean, I'm talking hop it up, man. It's a 60 size, but I'd like to go ahead and put a DLE 90 or a 120 in it. I mean, if we're going to do it, let's wake it up. I mean, I don't want to peel the wings off of it, but I don't know. But yeah, that's a big airplane, man. I mean, I was sitting there at my house the other day going, my couch is 96 inches long. That's a big plane. But I've seen it in person at one of our fly-ins, and it flew incredibly well. And it comes with the retracts, which they're kind of, I mean, I think you could do better, but it does come with retracts. But that kit alone is $1,000. And yeah, I don't know. What model do you have? Which 89-inch one is yours, Gary? I know that Phoenix also makes one that's, I think it's 60 some. It's probably a 30 size, 30 cc. That's the one that my friend Brian's got, and it flies amazing and looks great in the air. Um, so yeah, I love the Spitfire as well. But that 96-inch, if I had my Rathers, that's what I love to have, that and put a nice engine in it, and probably a little better retract than what comes in it. Not saying that they're not okay, but I think you could go better with JP or something like that, possibly Robarts. Um, I'm just not big on the pneumatic retracts. A little bit afraid of them, just in case you have a failure or air leak. Um, I tend to like electric retracts. But I know a lot of these guys that have these big expensive jets all have air driven retracts. And, if you don't have any leaks, you're good. But it's a bad time to find out you got a leak in the air, because then you got a retract that isn't going to work, or all of them aren't going to work. Or if a hose comes loose or something like that. But yeah, so that's kind of, we got a lot to do. And like I said, it's just freaking weather, man. I mean, I was looking at the news this afternoon, and the jet stream's coming like right down around North Carolina, and you can tell it because the wind has been crazy here lately. If it's not coming out of the northwest, it's coming out of the southwest. It's like it goes from one direction to the other. Now, south southwest is okay because that's straight down our runway from right to left, and north northwest, of course, is coming from left to right. It's okay if it's a slight wind or a slight breeze, but with 24, I mean, the wind around here lately has been going from, well, for instance, I think Saturday the wind here was 12 with 24 gusts. I don't mind a 12-mile-an-hour headwind coming down the runway. I'm cool with that. I'll fly it all day long. But when it goes from 12 to 24, back down to 8, back up to 24, it just, yeah. Um, let's see. I have friends that have that 96-inch, and they have some overheating problems when it gets over 80. Yeah, I could see possibly that with the size engine you'd have to put in it. Either that or you have to put a lot more ventilation in it, or fly it without a cowl, which kind of takes away from the look of it. But some people do that sometimes anyway, especially during the break-in process. That's what I'll do with this T-28. It'll fly probably right many times with the cowl off of it as we tune the engine and things like that, because the cowl looks amazing on here with the scale mufflers coming out of the fuselage. But it's just, you got to put it up there just right and turn it just right and push it on, and getting it off and on is a chore. And so until we get the engine tuned up right and flying good and everything, I probably will keep the cowl off of it for a while. So Gary, what your 89-inch Spitfire? What maker is it? Who makes it? Is it Phoenix? Is it somebody else? I know Legend's got a Spitfire, but I think it's done in the desert camo, if I'm not mistaken. And I tend to like that green camo, like came on the Flightline. That Flightline plane looks really good, and mine done with the Invasion stripes looks sweet, man. I mean, it just does. Like I said, I put them on the fuselage in the middle of the tail, and then I've got them on the wing, and they really look nice like that. And that plane flies great. So does the Flightline Corsair. I've got that one too, and it's all painted in the Baba Black Sheep scheme. And I did that one. I actually did a video on how I painted it, how I detailed the panel lines with chalk. Chalk is a great thing for painting stuff, man, because you can grind it and kind of sprinkle it on the plane and take your fingers and rub it in. And Then if you go over it with clear polyacrylic, it looks really good, and it'll fill panel lines great. And I've got a chalk box this long that goes from like white all the way through the spectrum, and it's got every color in there, and chalk works really good. Uh, so yeah, I did a full video on detailing that Corsair. So if you guys ain't got nothing to do at some point, you want to watch some good customizing. It looks great. It turned out beautiful. I've actually got the sound system in that particular plane, and it sounds really good. Flies great. Have no complaints with that plane as well. I wish that one and the Spitfire both had more power, but I think we all want more power. I think in planes like that, when we first get them, we think, okay, this flies great. It flies scale, it looks good, but planes like that should have more get up and go at the end of the day. That's why it's just like the FMS Red Tail, the big 1700 millimeter FMS Red Tail. I love it. Um, and I would probably have it in a heartbeat, but it's way underpowered. And I just can't see buying a plane with an engine or with a motor and a ESC that right out of the box is not gonna. It'll fly, but it's not enough power for a Mustang. Mustang should rip, man, and it looks great, it flies great, but it's just underpowered. And I actually reached out to FMS at one point. I said, "Can I buy it in just the ARF? Because I'll put my own motor and ESC in it." And they were like, "No, that isn't how we sell it." And I was like, "Well, then keep it." So it's a shame when you got to buy an airplane that relatively costs what that one does, and you're going to strip the motor and ESC out of it. And granted, you can save it for something else if you wanted to, but I'd just soon get it in an ARF and put a badass motor in it and put probably 150 amp ESC and possibly run it on 8S and wake it up, and it'd be pretty sweet. Those badass motors are great. Jerry Kirby turned me on to those a while back, and we've actually put them in a couple of things. And for the price point, they're very good motors. If you guys have not checked out those, definitely check out Badass Motors. And again, guys, I always tell you every week you're in here, check out zoomrc.net for your servo leads, for tools, for extensions, for satellite extensions. Marshall over there at ZoomRC is awesome and great customer service. He's always good to us and sends us a lot of cool stuff for our fly-ins. And also Scale RC Engines. If you're needing anything 3D printed from your cockpit to your engines for electric planes, things to make them look even more realistic, more scale, Sean over at Scale RC Engines can just about make anything you want, and his printers print in color. So it's not just one color. He prints in all different colors, and it's just like the cockpit of the T-28 is done by him, and it is absolutely gorgeous. Down to the gauges in the dash, to the switches, the knobs, everything's done in different colors. Looks very scale. And yeah, so definitely check out Scale RC Engines. And, all these people are good to us, and High Tech Electronics is good to us. And so, I try to tell everybody I can, because it's the reason we're here and we have such great fly-ins and such great raffles is because between Legend Hobby and all these great sponsors, they're all good to us here. And we just appreciate every single one of them that do everything they do for us, because, without them, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be anybody. We'd just be, out flying, and we wouldn't have the stuff to offer at our fly-ins that we have. And we have great raffles. And Thomas always sends us an amazing airplane. So we gave away a really nice maxi lift this spring, 3 or 4 weeks ago at our spring fly-in, and it was a beautiful airplane. So definitely check them out. And I'm telling you guys, Legends got some containers coming in the next 2 weeks. If there's something you want, and it's a pre-order or it's coming in, you best be on that button because you know how things are going with imports and this and that right now. So if there's something you want to get for the summer fly-ins or the summer flying, you better get them while they're coming in because they may not last long. A lot of stuff's going to probably be selling out quick, and then the availability of it again will be possibly unknown until some things get straightened out. So click that button, as the Patrinkic brothers always say. What are you waiting for? Click that button. So yeah, like I said, man, missing my wingman tonight. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me tonight and being here. I'm sorry I'm not as crazy as Wayne, even though I love him to death. I know he is. He keeps you guys laughing and stuff like that too. I've just been trying to fill you in on what we've been doing and what's going on, what we've got coming up, and what we hope to get done soon, and what I've been working on since he's not been here because he had to spend all this past week getting caught up with his work for his employer, doing things so he could be gone for a week or who knows, two, whatever. So yeah, hopefully he'll get back here soon, and we'll get some things going and get you guys some videos of the break-in processes, some flights, and yeah, give you something to watch. I mean, you know, I'm really shocked that more people haven't been doing more maidens and stuff of the V2 A10. But then again, from what I've seen in the news, the weather's been crap a lot of places in the U.S., so it might be hindering a lot of people from getting out and flying right now. I don't know. You know, the weather's been crazy this spring, man. It was 60 degrees this morning here when I got up, but 82 this afternoon. And, you know, we've been in the 80s for a few days, and this morning was the coolest morning. I walked out, I was like, damn, it's a little chilly. I don't like cold weather. I've made that pretty clear with you guys. I'm a warm weather, sunshine, outdoor person, and I cannot stand to be cold. I will sweat all day. Give me the humidity. I don't want to be cold, and I hate wearing a bunch of clothes. So, and coats and gloves, don't do it for me. Give me my flip flops and everything else. Yeah, Phil says the weather sucks up here. Phil's field is still too wet. So what I'm saying, man, it's not just been here. It's been a lot of places, and that jet stream's kind of dipping down and going up towards y'all, and it's carrying everything from down here up to you guys, because that's where it's coming from, the southwest. I hope we don't have a bad hurricane season. Hurricane season here starts, I think, June 1st and goes through mid-November. Don't want to see that. That's one thing I'm not looking forward to because we never know. We're about an hour and a half from the beach here, and it can get bad here too real fast, and a lot of rain and flooding. And so hopefully we don't see that this year. I don't want to see it and tearing up a lot of people's homes and beaches and things like that. So yeah, we'll see, but nobody has a crystal ball. So hopefully we can all get some flying in soon and get some good videos out. But other than that, that's really what's happening. And like I said, you guys keep Wayne in your prayers. Keep his dad in your prayers. And hopefully he'll be back soon. Maybe hopefully by next Tuesday evening. Don't know. I asked him this morning. I said, when are you shipping out? He said today at 1 o'clock he was leaving Raleigh, Durham Airport, heading to California. So I don't even know if he's gotten there yet. I just told him to keep me posted, that I wouldn't bother him. And hopefully he will, and let me know what's going on with him. So, yeah, just keep him in your prayers and think about him. And hopefully things are going to go one way or the other. And we all have an expiration date, man. That's what sucks. So anyway, hope I hadn't bored you guys too much tonight. I've just been trying to keep it going, give you things that we've been doing, things we've been working on, and maybe give you some pointers on some stuff. as far as fixing planes and things like that. Wayne asked me when I told him I fixed the T-45 the other day. He said, "Well, where's the video?" I said, "Right here." He said, "You didn't film a video?" I said, "Man, how can I hold the camera and use two hands for taking crap out and get your hands and all that?" I said, and I don't know. I don't like using a GoPro. I, I just don't. And so when you get used to using a camera, whether it be a phone or a handheld, my Sony or whatever, going back to a GoPro sitting on your head is just like, I don't know. I just, and quite honestly, I didn't really think about it. I just came up here and kind of zoned out and worked quietly and did my thing and just kind of enjoyed what I was doing. So had to do something. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great week, safe week. Maybe get some flying in. The weather's going to get better. It's coming. And like I said, keep Wayne in your prayers. And I hope you guys are safe and stay safe. And I will see you one way or another right here next Tuesday night, same time. And we'll let you know what's going on with Wayne and if he's back, and we'll get some things going. So you guys have a great night. Check out Legend Hobby, Zoom RC, Scale RC Engines, High Tech, all of them. Check them out, guys. Buy something. Click that button and get it before it gets gone, because we don't know when things are going to get back to getting what we should. So I will see you guys next week. Have a great week.